AllBall TV. You already know the motto. They scared, but I'm not. You heard it there first. You already know the motto. They scared, but I'm not. Is it too dark? Maybe too dark. If it is, let me know you like me shining. Fabian perspective, expected, so accepted. AllBall TV. You know the motto. They scared, but I'm not. Knicks Rehab. Nice little preview. Knicks going into this. I was gonna say we won 3 games in a row, but what? With 2, I had to guess. 1-1 against Philly. We beat Orlando, and then we lost to Atlanta. So we're 2-2 in our last 4. We expected to be 2-2 in the last 4. I think me and last time me and Two spoke AllBall were on here live. We expected to go 500, but it was like, you know. But come on, man. The talk of the town is OG Anunoby. We'll get to that in a second. Josh Hart. We'll get to that in a second. Just, I don't think guys that we going into the season, nobody thought was going to take an elevated role and mean more to their team, respectively. In Josh Hart and OG Anunoby. You know, one started in Toronto. We'll get to that in a second. Like I mentioned, this thing against the Portland Trailblazers. Jeez Louise. I'm not saying I'm scared. I wouldn't say I'm scared because that's just the wrong word to use, right? Who's going to be scared of the Portland Trailblazers? Even though they play super defensively all season long. They've had, Matthias Thybulle and these guys and role players like that. Scoot Henderson had been subpar. He's, as of recent, I haven't watched him, but people are starting to give him more props. I don't know if that's more of the Draymond, Stephen A. Smith, hey, let's tilt the MVP award and ask why Jason Tatum isn't an MVP caliber guy. And meanwhile, he wet the bed, right? I don't know if that's what's going on with Scoot Henderson. We could look into who his agency is and stuff like that. But he has been known, as of recent, people are saying, well, this kid is playing way better than before. And excuse me, before that, he had been drowning in his rookie pool, which, come on now, Wemby, Chet now considered in his rookie class, right? Even the Thompson twins have had more of an impact on the rookie season this year. So Scoot Henderson's going to drown in that. Somebody else who drowned and going into this season, if we expected, I don't know if any of us expected him to do great, but we were questioning and we were saying, hey, you were on the Phoenix Suns. We have Devin Booker there, who's a problem, apparently. And he's saying he doesn't respect you indirectly, directly. DeAndre Ayton, he gets to the Portland Trailblazers. And as of recent, 7 consecutive double-doubles, where he's averaging 24 a game on 64% shooting, 15 boards, 15 rebounds during that stretch. So 24 and 15 in his last 7 straight double-doubles. I think he's obviously been killing. For Chauncey Billups, who obviously has a high, he just comes off real respectable. Someone that you respect their word and take their word for what they're saying. Danny Berry, what's going on, baby? Chauncey Billups said, I think we've unlocked DeAndre Ayton, and we're getting the best version of him offensively, for sure. He's been a monster. He's been a monster on the glass. He's been all over the place. He's been awesome. They killed the last team they were playing on today's Thursday, so last night. I think they're in the back-to-back. There he is.
My brother.
It ain't free money. Flea money, baby.
What up, what up, what up? Oh,
we live.
Are we live? Hold on. Let me make sure the camera's right. Let me make sure the camera's tight.
Definitely.
What up?
Chilling.
Knicks Rehab. I'm not in. Oh, damn.
Go grab them if you want. We're just talking about DeAndre Ayton. Go get them real quick. So for Chauncey Billups to say that to me is like, okay, cool, Chauncey. Ayton also thanks his haters for fueling his recent run. Agreed with Billups' unlocked opinion. So DeAndre Ayton also said, most definitely coming into these games, I'm trying to do everything, not just my requirements for the team, and that's where I am. I'm just more dominant, and people like to laugh at it, but that's the truth. DeAndre Ayton, this is going to be a major test for you because our
Humble pie
rebound
right now.
percentage, our rebound
Humble.
percentage is off the hook. Everything about us is going to be. The last time we played the Blazers, that was the best I want to say we looked all year, passing the ball and everything, and we're a rebounding machine team. I think we were talking offline. What do you think about DeAndre Ayton the last 7 games? Are you impressed like Billups is?
I mean, we're talking about a guy who's former #1 pick. Had a lot of promise, but I think that the approach that Monty Williams had on him was a little too tough, right? Monty's an old school guy. He brings those old school tactics. I've heard that, from every guy at least one time in that Detroit Pistons locker room this year. Cade has spoke on it. Ivy has spoke on it. Duran has spoke on it. Most recently, Wiseman has played well. He spoke on how tough, but how much of a player's coach Monty is too. So I think it was a hard adjustment for Ayton early on. So we got a bad taste in our mouths for Ayton. Pause. But now gets a new breath of fresh air in Portland. They're not a very good team, so there's no expectations, right? Zero expectations on him and what Portland is doing right now. They're giving Chauncey a lot of rope, and the kid is figuring it out. I think Chauncey is right about having unlocked DeAndre Ayton. We're talking about a guy, a big that went first, #1 in the last 10 years. If we think about it right now, Fabian, there's a handful of bigs that have gone #1. Ayton, Cat, comments help me, somebody help me, but that's the first 2 guys that come to mind, Ayton and Cat, as bigs that have gone #1, right? So
in this era?
Yeah, I mean, I said in the last 10 years or so, maybe 10, 15 years. Let's say 10, 15 years. Like, there's not many, there's not many
You think
bigs.
the Durant thing, you think Durant Olden has something to do with that too? The era, and it's like, okay, this era, we need more Durant than Olden.
I think that Portland went and got another pick. Meaning, what year is Ayton in? 3, 4?
No, it's 4 or 5. Remember, Doncic, Trae Young been around 5 years now, right?
Okay, so he's that class. So that's 6, maybe. That's maybe 5. That's maybe 5 or 6. Okay, so that changes my thought a little bit. Nonetheless, I think
right, because he spent 5. I just say he spent 5 years with the Phoenix Suns.
Nonetheless, I think he's in a perfect spot. I think he's got the right coach. I think zero expectation puts him in a position where he could play freely. He doesn't have to worry about, playing next to Chris Paul, Devin Booker. Those guys are in win now mode. They want to win, right? They're in the NBA Finals. You're in the NBA Finals against the MVP, right? That's a lot of pressure on a young guy, right? So, we watched Giannis take his heart that entire series. Giannis might still have it in his back pocket. Let's check it. But, getting a breath of fresh air for young players is always good. So, I'm excited for DeAndre Ayton. I'm more excited about Chauncey Billups because I was getting extremely scared. Once the season is over, is Chauncey going to be one of the first guys out of the door? I'm hoping that they allow him to grow as a coach and grow with that team. So, love what Ayton's been doing thus far over the last couple games.
In those 7 games for Ayton, it's the Hawks, the Celtics, the Raptors. He missed like 5 straight games. 2 of them were wins against Memphis. So the Hawks, Celtics, Toronto, and then the Heat, they lost. The Hornets, they lost. The Nuggets, they lost. Minnesota, they lost. Back-to-back games, they lost. They lost by 37 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. First game, he had 16 rebounds against the Wolves. Second game, he had 4 rebounds in 19 minutes, or half the amount of time. And then he went on a streak, the double streak. 1, 2, 3. Looks like 6 straight games with double, not 7. I think they didn't count. They misspoke on that. It's not 7. It's 6 straight games with double. But
okay.
3 of those are 19 rebound games. The 19 rebound games are against Toronto, the Hawks, and the Charlotte Hornets. DeAndre Ayton, ain't nobody scared of you, man. Enough is enough. We're not sugarcoating this, bro. You got a lot to prove. You're perming girls' hair on national TV. Ladies of the film sessions. We ain't nobody scared of you.
Disgusting. That was disgusting. I didn't like it either.
It happens, bro. Like, Zion gets the smoke, you gotta get the smoke.
I didn't like it.
You shouldn't be talking. I can see why Booker didn't like you, and I don't even like Devin Booker like that. I love how Devin Booker performed last year. You guys thought I loved it so much that you thought I was a fan. I was never.
We confused that, man, because we started thinking like, wait a minute, Fabian. No, Devin Booker's worst enemy has become a fan. Like, what are we doing?
I hate him so much. I just hate the way he carries himself on the court. But so much so that you like make us not like you. Like, Devin Booker doesn't like you, and we're siding with him. Nah, man. Accept some accountability, man. People, it's hard to do it. You're young, and if everyone told you that you're doing everything the right way or you're being misled, it is what it is. I don't believe him. I don't care if he has these 6 straight doubles. We got Hartenstein out there, got Achua. We're gonna have a coach that clearly we have counters all of that. Counters everything, all this little double streak you got going on. You average a double for your career, if I'm not mistaken.
He's about 16 and 10.
16 and 10 and a half, correct.
Yeah,
so 16 and 10. You should have 6 straight doubles.
Yeah.
I'm not scared. Chauncey, great way to instill some confidence in them. As a coach, you have to be very particular. I would imagine you know better than me.
Fabian, something's on my heart. Something's on my heart right now, and I gotta speak on it. We just traded him back in the trade deadline. Former New York Knicks RJ Barrett, his brother just passed away, and we need to send some love to RJ. He's gonna be missing from the Toronto Raptors for indefinitely right now. To deal with the passing of his little brother. So I know this is Knicks Rehab. I wanted to take a minute. I didn't want to make it too morbid, but I did want to take a minute to show some love to RJ and his family on the passing of his brother.
RJ Barrett, God bless you and the family. I think he's became like definitely a memorable Knicks run that he had. So something like that is going to stand out for us because you put yourself in their shoes. Always, it's harder for the kids and the average fan to do that when they're fanning out. But that's no joke. That's
life. It's real life stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Heart goes out to the Barrett family. His pops went to St. John's I don't know if he's from New York, but he came through Queens and played for us. So there's a lot of ties to New York City with RJ Barrett. So just God bless you and the family, RJ. But he was traded for. I don't know if this was a nasty transition for.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool, man. It's cool, man. I did want to show some love to him, man. I just read up on that, and that's tough stuff. So
yeah, he was. RJ Barrett was traded for, OG Anunoby, and we just talk about being respectful at this point for RJ. Just night and day. I think we talked about it. I said it when they played the Heat, and right before Randall went down with the shoulder, and he hurt his shoulder. This looks like championship style of play. It's almost like why these stats don't tell the whole story. You guys are nothing but a bunch of nerds. You guys watch games and highlights, trying to back up what you see with the stats. No, just watch the game, get a feel for what you see. The Knicks just feel like what? He goes out there and there's just this balance, this the way they distribute the ball defensively. He's beyond an equalizer. Tommy Beer, who is just
big shout out to Tommy Beer, man.
Yeah, on Twitter, he's the man. He just always posting up stats that are amazing. We should post up his face, man. Is that he? Oh, he's with. Shout out to Queens, man.
Action, Big B.
But Tommy Beer posted OG Anunoby has played a total of 528 minutes over his first 15 games. The Knicks have outscored their opponents by 282 points in 528 minutes. The plus 282 is the highest plus minus by any player in NBA history over his first 15 games with a new team. Also, this guy, Mark Weber, posted. This is 282 is above Pau Gasol, Chris Paul when he went to the Rockets, Rasheed Wallace when he went to the Pistons. That's major. And Steve Nash when he went to the Phoenix Suns. And that was a monumental plus minus just a trade in general.
I need that. Send that to me. I need that.
Sure. And then
please.
Also just the feel for it. And shout out to Knicks Digest. I forgot my man's name. If it's Chris, I know it's the white kid, not the Spanish kid that's on there. My guy Conch, the white kid. So I gotta get his name before I get off the show. He's the one that said that for him, OG reminds him of Rasheed Wallace out of anybody on that list and in general. And the first person I thought about, of course, was Flea, because he was big on the defensive rating of Rasheed Wallace, and I think the defensive win shares for Rasheed Wallace at his peak with the Portland Trailblazers, how much he meant defensively. But even he, to me, was not this. I don't think there's a comp. Like, Rasheed Wallace is not Defensive Player of the Year category kind of guy. Maybe he was and he wasn't consistent enough, but OG immediately is. This is Kawhi Leonard. I don't even think Pippen was this good. Like, this is a different level of defense. This is, because he's big, bro. He's guarding literally 1 through 5. Let's not even, Pippen did not guard 1 through 5. He's guarding Embiid and Joker. OG, and then on top of that,
was awesome, man.
Listen, we have to put things into perspective. Is it hyperbole for you? Some of you guys who don't understand what you don't watch Knicks games. I just seen Rob Parker. That's shout out again, Big Queens. You're doing your thing.
Big Queens.
We gotta help you out. You need to holler at us, Rob, because you're from Queens and you got something going on. You got the connections, but you need help over there. You need some sauce with that. We got the Knicks shades on, baby. You need sauce over there.
You know what they say. You know what they say, Fabe.
What's that?
Sauce. It's cool to have the juice. When you look in your fridge, what lasts longer, juice or barbecue sauce? Right? The sauce lasts longer. The juice, it's cool to have the juice. The juice fades away quicker. The sauce, that sauce lasts forever, man.
And I think OG Anunoby is on his way to lasting forever for us. Like, he's making we were talking about this earlier. At some point, there's going to be a conversation of who's more important between him and Jalen Brunson. Because offensively, the balance that he brings to the table. Brunson brought, of course, a culture, leadership, everything. OG brings some leadership. I don't know if he'll be able to lead like Brunson. Of course, he doesn't have the La Cosa Nostra behind him the way Brunson does. But I don't think we know for a fact Brunson's not as dominant on offense the way OG is dominant on defense. And then on offense, OG, who brings more to the table? OG on offense or Brunson on defense? I would think OG on offense. And what do you think? And what do you think about that statement? How soon are we gonna have that conversation of, hey, who's the better player, OG or Brunson? Without, please, no tomatoes thrown, no punches thrown. We want you guys to be on the same team, but friendly fire.
Yeah, I think at some point, the conversation is cool. I think the conversation is unnecessary. And let me tell you why. I think that Jalen Brunson is the clear-cut most important player on the New York Knicks right now, right? We look like a completely different team once OG steps on the floor. Coming back from injury, we look like a completely different team when we traded for him, right? Like night and day as soon as he walked through the door. But the head of the snake, right? Shout out to our brother AllBall too. Always talks about Joker is great. Like, Joker is amazing. But the head of that snake is Jamal Murray. And if Jamal Murray goes down, if Jamal Murray is not there, then it creates more. It's a difficult task for Joker to win ball games without the head of his snake. So is OG important? 1000%. But the fact that we've been able to stay relevant, stay at the top of the Eastern Conference, not make our way into the play-in, and we lost Randall and OG, right? We lost Randall and OG. Oh, I'm sorry.
We lost Randall and OG.
We lost Randall and OG. And we was, I'm sorry. I got to laugh at that shit. Yuck. What up, Yuck? Yuck. My brother. Yeah, we lost Randall and OG, right? And we were still able to stay 1 through 5, right? So that means the head of the snake was still able to navigate us through the swamp and through some tough times, right? He was able to navigate, stay afloat. Now we got OG back in the fold. Soon, I see our guy working out. Every time I turn around, I see a new video of Julius in some sweats putting shots up, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, to answer your question, it's a great conversation, and I can't wait for when we get to that point, we'll have it. But I think going forward, unless a Giannis, unless a Luka, unless a Kevin Durant, a LeBron, I'm talking about the superstar level players, unless they walk through them garden doors, Jalen Brunson will continue to be the most important player on the New York Knicks.
That's tough because it's such a great. We are at the greatest problem we've had in
years.
This is the greatest problem to have.
Yeah.
Like, and people take it as hyperbole, whatever, but we have to have this conversation because if we're on to greatness, these are the kind of conversations we're gonna have to entertain ourselves. At a certain point, it's gonna be like the Patriots won again, the Yankees won again, the Lakers won again. Mm-hmm. When you're in the middle of that, trying to maintain, I think, and I'm getting ahead of myself because we have to get there first. Mm-hmm. But in order to get there, you have to do the same thing that you did to get there. I believe I have not achieved Super Bowl status and all this other stuff, but I think there's this competitiveness that comes out like, yo, who is better? The one that's the thing that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are missing. And I thought RJ Barrett and Randall may have been missing that too, or Randall was just punking them. I'm the alpha around here. Then Brunson came around. It's like, oh no, that's how you do things. Okay, I'm going to drop the sword. This is your team, bro. I ain't got nothing to say about this.
But Fabe, let me jump in right here. There's a difference between being the most valuable player, who is Jalen Brunson, and the most important player, who might be OG Anunoby. Right? There's a distinct, in my opinion, I think that there's a distinct difference between being most valuable and being most important. And
I think there was a conversation with UD saying Chris Bosh was the most important, but LeBron was the MVP, but Chris Bosh is the most important player on the Miami Heat during the run.
1000%, because you can't duplicate what Chris Bosh did for the Miami Heat on that ball club, right? Not saying that you can duplicate LeBron James, but you do have a counterpart in Dwayne Wade, who at the time when he walked through the door, Dwayne Wade was still a top 5, top 8 player in the NBA, right or wrong. In 2010, I don't think top 5, top 8 player in the NBA.
Easily. Healthy, top 3 maybe.
Right. Yeah. Right. So
LeBron being most important versus
LeBron being the most valuable player on the team, I think that's unanimous. I think he walks through the door as the value that he's going to bring to this team supersedes anything that anybody else is going to do. But with Chris, he was so important on what they did over there. UD couldn't do what Chris Bosh did, right? Nobody else on the floor could do what Bosh did. I think the same thing kind of goes for Brunson and OG. Brunson, most valuable player, right? The value that he brings to this team is unmatched. But in terms of what OG does, I don't think anybody else can duplicate what he does. Josh Hart is excellent player. I don't think he defends like OG. He doesn't have a natural shot like OG, right? Like it's Josh is amazing. He's been great for us. But OG being the most important guy is because all the unique factors about who he is as a basketball player can't be matched by anybody on our team. Nobody is as good of an on-ball defender as him. You know, those corner threes, he's great at. Being able to cut to the basket, moving without the basketball. I don't think we have a lot of guys on our team that are elite at moving without the basketball. He is an elite player moving without the basketball, always getting to the rim without the ball, and as soon as he gets in the paint, it's delivered, and all he's doing is rising up, right? Like all of those unique factors about him, low maintenance, comes to play every night. Like some guys, you got to get certain guys up to play. OG is going to show up against the Utah Jazz, or he's going to show up against the Boston Celtics, whoever. It don't matter. You know, that's important stuff. So to me, there's a distinct difference between being most valuable and being most important.
I totally disagree. I think if you're the most valuable thing, that word is just, I don't know why it's getting misinterpreted over it. Most valuable person in your life is the most important. That most valuable, my babies, my kids. You know, my wife is up there because she got to take care of them babies when she, you know, we both work, but like most valuable, they're gonna be like, they're getting older. The value of their education, that all this stuff is valuable. I like my son's teacher right now. I talk to him anytime I get the chance. I thank him because I've seen other teachers, and I ain't gonna single anybody out. But boy, oh boy, is he valuable in my son's life this year. How high does he rank in is he the most valuable player in my son's life? I don't know. It gotta be mom and dad first, but Mr. Will's up there. He's third. So I think value has importance just by definition. It's in the definition. It's by design. Like you need to be this important to be this valuable. And even with I just disagree with Bosh being the most important player in Miami. I think it was great for him to express admiration for Chris Bosh like that. Like he needs his shine. He needs to be talked about like this. That's what the thing about being wrong is. It's okay to be wrong about something like that. Udonis Haslam, even if he's wrong, I'm willing to stand on this because it means we're going to talk about Chris Bosh for 24 hours, hopefully, or maybe longer.
Right.
I think that's the end game to him even making that statement, as opposed to right now, hey, who's more important, you know, Brunson or OG Anunoby? Somebody's gonna counter and say you better win first, right? But my thing is, you know, we have to talk for a living. So in that conversation, it doesn't have the same consequence or result as we need to shout out Chris Bosh and make an important piece for a 4-year run that we went to 4 straight finals. We're trying to highlight how this turnaround with the Knicks has us so hopeful and why, and what piece really provided the kick. Brunson
I just had a conversation with some of my guys and asked a really, really great question, something to think about, you know, comments if y'all want to throw some players in there. I thought this was a great question. Who is the best, like the best role player in the NBA today?
Is it Derek White?
He came up. Not unanimously, but I think as a group, we came up with Aaron Gordon. Now he's on the list. You may disagree, but I think the two guys that we just named are absolutely on that list. Derek White, Aaron Gordon. But there are a few other guys.
Yeah.
There's a few other guys that are like stars in their roles. Aaron Gordon's one. Derek White is one. I think OG Anunoby and Josh Hart belong in the conversation.
Oh, I disagree with that.
I just think that they belong in the conversation.
No, I think he is like, this isn't like, again, I keep comparing football, Thibodeau style to football, and like Brunson he's sort of the quarterback. He is a quarterback that just he can produce for you, and you know the Giants never had a Jeff Hostetler or whatever it was, but you got like can't even say Tom Brady, but not even Eli Manning, just a great quarterback who's poised for the moment is Brunson, and he's great. He brought the leadership and everything, the culture. But what OG's doing is flat out what we've seen out of Lawrence Taylor, Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu, just a disruptive defender. And when you say Ed Reed and Polamalu, you got a defender who can score. You got guys you better not throw in their direction. You better not play with them because they're gonna get the ball and they're gonna cause
it back to the crib.
And it's gonna be a 4 instead of it's like a 14-point swing because you could have scored a touchdown, but it took the interception. I scored 7. Now what? Now you're down by 2 scores. Same thing with the Knicks. How he harassed, how OG Anunoby harassed them on the defensive end is just different. Like for me in basketball, the line of scrimmage is kind of constantly moving, and everything is determined by that foul line. It's the free throw line that nobody ever talks about, really, because it's boring to just come to a conclusion in basketball and sports. You can't just come to a conclusion. It's like I don't want to bring that up, but it's like religious.
Yeah, but it's not. I understand what you're saying.
But with OG, it's like you got a guy who's gonna have the reputation along with real true defense to go guard one-on-one and everywhere. So therefore, they're gonna allow him a lot on a defensive end. We haven't seen that in a lot of some years. Tyson Chandler, Jason Kidd when he was here, but he was older. We haven't seen the prime of somebody being able to just do what they want to do defensively. Kawhi Leonard style stuff. That changes everything. And on defense, to equalize Jason Tatum, to equalize Giannis, to equalize Embiid, equalize your little Jimmy Butler over there in Miami Heat. Boy, oh boy, the more I think about it, the less fear I have of the Heat with that guy out there.
Yeah.
Just total, I dare you, Jimmy, to do something, to say something. He's going to be very quiet. I don't care if you guys are turning up all of a sudden. I see the little YouTube. I can't wait to watch the next video. OG Anunoby, the fact that he makes me feel that confident, that's some LT Lawrence Taylor, the straight head, the NASCAR front line for the Giants. That's how I feel like, oh yeah, watch this. Tom Brady came out, 17 points, huh? And when he scored like 14. That's how confident we feel. I feel about OG Anunoby.
I'm very confident.
Brunson brought me up. He brought me up. We over here, we rooted for him, going crazy on Becky Hammond, Hey Girl, and Candace Parker. I ain't forget about you. You keep not watching Knicks games and commenting, right? Brunson got us going crazy, but OG got me feeling like I dare one of you mother lovers. I dare one of you mother lovers to come to the Garden and think it's sweet because it's over. We got a lockdown guy, Flea. Lockdown.
Fully healthy, bro. Any one of the 29. Come on into the Garden. Let's rock and roll. Any one of the other 29. I'm cool. I've never felt this confident about a Knicks team in a very, very long time. I don't want to talk about the last time I did, but it's been a while. When we are fully healthy, stepping on that floor, we are not the most talented team. And I'm going to go back to what I said a couple weeks ago. We are not the most talented team, but we are going to play harder than any team in the NBA. And with the mix of the talent that we do have, like you said, yeah, Miami, come on. Boston, come on. Stop Milwaukee, come on.
Stop playing with us.
Philly, let's rock and roll.
Bring it.
And anybody that got a problem with us wearing shades in the house, go to the French stand.
No, whoa. Hey, not there. I'm not there yet. I'm not there. Whoa, that's war words. Jesus Christ. But
I'm being funny, man. I'm being funny.
This is a terrible transition. Speaking of working hard, as mentioned the Frank stand. Josh Hart you talk about working hard. He is a Thibodeau guy.
1000%.
Let me know if you can see this stuff. Hot hand theory. Hold on. Inviting people to the Frank stand, working hard, and then going to hot hand theory is crazy.
It's crazy.
Back to back pause, legendary pause.
It's wild.
Sorry, I apologize to my New York brethren.
Somebody clip this up, send it to it is what it is. Cam, my fault, baby. My fault.
So we're gonna go through some game film for a couple of minutes. Josh Hart, I'm so glad I got Flea here because this is hot hand theory saying most know about Josh Hart's a huge game Tuesday night, which was a crazy triple-double, damn near 20-20-10. But I want to show the huge adjustment that Hart and Thibodeau have made that could change the trajectory of Hart's impact against well-coached teams in the playoffs. Strap in, friends, Josh Hart in the half-court thread. And you let me know. You chime in whenever you want, Flea. We're in the mix. Let's start with the two-play sequence. Knicks place OG Dante on the weak side. Gives Hartenstein a clear path to this basket on the roll. They flip, but Lowry pre-stunts. Nick Nurse has shown his hand. Always help off of Josh Hart.
But it's great though. You see how wide Josh stayed?
Right.
That's not common, right? Look at the.
He starts at the top right there.
I'm not talking about this play. I'm talking about the. You put Kelly. Who is that? Is that Kelly? Who is that?
Where?
Who is that?
Oh, Oubre. Yeah, it's Oubre. That's Oubre.
So you put Kelly in the position where, right, that dump down to Hartenstein is usually a basket. He's usually aggressive when he gets the ball below the dotted. But it would make it easier to defend him if Josh Hart had stayed. If Josh Hart had not gone wide, had he stayed up a little higher, it would have been easier to defend Hartenstein in this situation, in this pick and roll. But Josh gets wide. Now Oubre has to commit to wherever he's going. And he committed here to Hartenstein. But if he doesn't do that, if Hart doesn't, get wide, that's a recipe for disaster for Oubre.
But by wide, you mean right here when he does a handoff?
No, I'm gonna show you. Play
or further down over here and into the wing area.
Right. You see how wide
he wide after the yeah. So Hartenstein does the pick. That's not a Spain pick and roll, right?
No.
Okay. No. So a Spanish pick and roll. All right. But Oubre's up here. He stays with Brunson, and Josh Hart goes out to the wing, damn near the corner, in the middle of the wing and the corner.
Right.
So Hartenstein, who's a great passer, also, and
Lowry tries to now that's a 3-ball, right? That's a 3-ball. He missed the shot, but that's a 3-ball.
Right.
And this is the first 3 minutes of that game. If I saw that right, so this early in the game, he's not in a good rhythm.
Wait, is this real? R.I.P. MC Hammer. Nah, come on, man. Y'all be playing him too much online. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. He's all right. He's not him.
Oh, okay. I was just waiting for you to finish.
My MC Hammer. Breaking news.
Yeah, let the people know if we lost our brother.
Nah, he's good apparently. So Josh Hart misses the shot, but because he finished, so he has to do that on a play like that every time.
That's a great because if he doesn't go wide, now you jamming up the top of the key. It's easier to double. It's easier doesn't go wide.
But this
it's easier to defend.
Why did he highlight this first play? Because Josh is here in the corner. And then Hartenstein does his pick, and he rolls. And now, of course, Brunson feeds him. Which, by the way, is what I was talking about. Where if they're gonna try to like double Brunson or like trap him, we need Hartenstein out there because he's the guy. I think he's the second best passer on the team. Not like making the best passes, but the one that looks for the best passes to make.
Mm-hmm.
And after a pick and roll, if he gets it. He's getting it and he knows to go to the basket, which sometimes he does stymie himself and he won't go. But he was aggressive here and said, no, clear path. I'm a running back. And then in this angle, Lowry's the guy that he can get those calls, right? Like, this is a 50-50 call.
Yeah. So another ref might have called a charge.
And these are like.
But play it.
Mm-hmm.
Knicks. Hartenstein.
Yeah, he was there. So that you could have called.
They actually, I want to play tomorrow. I want to go through a segment with Bill Simmons and Ryan Russillo breaking down the second half of the NBA season so far, how a lot of calls are not being called, and they're allowing things to go. And the first team to Bill that one of the teams that Bill Simmons mentioned was like, yo, this might be bad for the Knicks because of Brunson, and getting more physical with him would lead to whatever. I'm like, oh, you think this is good for the Celtics? And he said no, because the Miami Heat are the team he's scared to death of, and it helps them out. But I'm not scared of that. And just to bring it home with this, they might let this go down with the whole flopping of the, trying to take the charge.
Yo, we're a physical ball club, man. I'm not. We got Rough Riders. We got guys they're gonna get in the trenches. They ain't got no problems putting their hard hat on, grabbing their pail, and going to work. So I'm not. If referees are gonna start swallowing their whistles, pause, like, I have no problem. I don't think the Knicks run into any issues with that. They'll be fine.
There's another video from Hot Hand Theory. He's saying step one to exploiting this type of aggressive stunting, capitalize on mistakes on both of these possessions. 76ers defenders naturally and incorrectly rotate onto Hart off of better shooters. Hart processes
4 triple-doubles in the last however many games. Couple games he had 20 rebounds, right? Close to 20 rebounds. High assist numbers, scoring the basketball, right? It's slightly inflated. He's not going to see this pretty much going forward, right? As we get healthy, Josh has earned the right to be out there. Don't get me wrong. But rotations and minutes will change now as we get healthy. So, and teams are smart. We're going into the playoffs. Everybody, if we're sitting here watching this, I promise you, player development, player personnel, scouting, video coordinator, all of them are watching the same thing we're watching, Fabian. So the most disciplined teams. So Josh is going to have to stay aggressive, because that is a plus for us. Anytime he's aggressive, good things happen. So I like our team, man.
I just want to end it with this video where it's saying adjustment is the first adjustment. Tibbs and Hart have identified that the 76ers plan to aggressively help off of Hart to make Brunson's life more difficult. How do they counter? By placing him on the weak side and having him set flare screens for better shooters. So this is Hart right here setting a screen for DiVincenzo.
Watch him flare
out. Is this called a flare screen because he just does a real quick tap?
Nah, he's just screening. He's just screening. Because he's just screening. If the guy wasn't there, he would have set the screen still. Brunson using the Hartenstein. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like,
if who wasn't there?
Like, so whoever that was, I don't even. If you ever pay attention, sometimes your guys set ghost screens. Like, they set screens on areas and not even players, right? Because they're going through the set. They're going through what they're trying to get into. They're going into the action that they want to get. And so some guys, because it's a certain type of action, they're going to screen an air, or they fake the screen and, get into the action that they want to get into. So I don't know. I'm not sure who that player was, but whoever that was, it could have been me. Josh Hart was going to screen that area.
Okay. And then, but this is pivotal but the flare screen is how quick it is, or the type of
screen, because it's a flare screen because DiVincenzo was flaring out. It's not what Hart is doing after. It's not what Hart is doing after the screen. He's setting the screen on. He doesn't even know the screen is coming because they're in a zone right now.
Right.
He doesn't even know the screen is coming. So you screen the outside of the zone, which is what he's doing. Screen the outside of the zone and make a quick cut to the basket. So now I got two opportunities to either I can get Josh Hart going downhill and maybe get fouled or get an easy layup, or, which was probably the better play because the defender wound up getting out to DiVincenzo. But I got two options. If Josh Hart really sets a hard screen, DiVincenzo's open for a three. That's an easy money three.
Right.
But because Josh didn't, he kind of set it like a little flare ghost screen. He set it and then immediately rolled to the basket. So.
And I would imagine if that was Randall, he cuts to the basket, he might get doubled or tripled. That leaves Hartenstein open.
That leaves Hartenstein open. That might leave DiVincenzo open in the corner.
Well, I was gonna say that's Anunoby in the corner.
Or OG. Excuse me, I can't even see. Yeah, that's OG.
Can I zoom in? I can't zoom in, but he's right here in the corner. You can see my mouth.
See, and that's the right corner. So you know he's money from there.
No, I think he's the left corner for
left corner.
Left corner, yeah.
Well,
I think
corner threes, he's money.
Right corner. Right.
Corner threes, he's money.
So, I just wanted to point out some stuff for Josh Hart because he's been killing, and we gave him props the week before he had this amazing game. He's a Thibodeau guy. We know he's a role player, and he's going to increase just to maintain this discipline and this approach to the game. Is part of the thing where it's like, Jay Wright just came out. Shout out to Jay Wright, the former coach of Villanova, and he came out to support his guys. Like, yeah, they could win a championship. What y'all talking about? Not as adamant as I'm going to say it, but I think he knows them very well. And again, Bob, the moron Myers over there on ESPN, you ducked that smoke at Golden State. You didn't want to stay there because you were scared to do what needs to be done. You're the one that said Jay Wright called you and said Jalen Brunson's post-up game is serious. I don't know what you're thinking. This guy's I'm not just, vouching for him. No, he's legit. And he still wants to root against him, Bob, the moron Myers. And it's okay because we're going to root for him. OG Anunoby, we're going to root for him. And Josh Hart brings the intensity and the approach to the game that we need, especially from role players. Like I think you got guys on non-championship teams specifically. And we've seen it with the Knicks before. When we had our players and we're just like, they're not giving the effort. They don't have the talent. I think Josh Hart is a bit of an overachiever and just a good spirit, man. We want that spirit around you.
I love an overachiever any day of the week because we say sometimes people take overachieving as a slight. No, you just weren't projected. Josh Hart was Biggie's player of the year. So it's not like he's not a great player coming out of college. Like he was the best player in his conference. So, like he's won championships at Villanova, right? So amazing basketball player. Like everything he does out there on the court is just adding value to the New York Knicks. Love what he does for us. Last thing I want to say, if and when we do part ways with Tom Thibodeau, Jay Wright is the first guy I feel like we should be calling.
That would be
and that's like, big. And I ain't gonna take credit for that. That's Big Flea. Dad, I told you I would get up here and let the people know that was coming from you. My pops has been beating this drum for the last 3 to 4 years, or whenever Jay Wright decided to leave Villanova. He has said, I want Jay Wright as the head coach of the New York Knicks. So
I've shout out to Papa Flea because I'm tired of everyone and anyone who's still commenting on Tom Thibodeau's flaws. I know he does not overwork everybody in terms of how many minutes they get. No, Candace Parker, again, dead wrong about how many minutes people get. But he does leave them out there when he doesn't leave players out there when we don't need them out there. You just have to have a better feel for the game. And shout out to Papa Flea because I've never heard anybody with a solution. They always mention the problem. Oh, Thibodeau's a problem. Thibodeau's a problem. Okay, well, who are you going to bring over here? Who fits? He ain't part of La Costa Nostra. And boy, is Jay Wright. You talk about part of the
family.
He's at the family.
He's at the table.
Come on, man. He didn't even ring the doorbell. He just opened the door, opened the screen door. Like, oh, I parked in the. Yo, yeah, I brought the mashed potatoes. I got the macaroni and cheese. Jay Wright is family over there in La Costa Nostra. Come on now.
He sits at the table with Gotti. Definitely. He sits at the table with Gotti. He eats first. All of that. Yeah.
Come on, man. So Fabian Perspective, expected so accepted. That is all we live.
Big Flea. Knicks Rehab.
You already know what time it is, man. What's wrong with AllBall TV? You already know the motto. They scared, but I'm not.